Good afternoon, dear students. Let's begin our lesson. I am Farmanov Gairat, Terme State University. Today's lecture 10, Modern English Lexicology. Compounding as a major type of word formation. Plan of the lecture. First, definition of compounders and ways of their formation. Third, the semantic and structural motivation in compounders. Third, coordinative and subordinative compounders. Fourth, classification of compounders according to different criteria. Fifth, correlation between compounders and phraseological units. Compound words. Compound words are made up by joining two or more stems. For example, taxi driver, music box, keyboard, blue-eyed, cross-legged, lopsided, bookcase, looking glass. Word composition or compounding is a distinct type of words made up by joining together two stems, mostly stems of notional part of speech. Generally, a compound member cannot, like a word in a phrase, serve as a constitute in a syntactic construction. The word black in the phrase black beds can be modified by very, very black beds, but not so the compound member black in black beds. A change in order of components of compound words brings a change in the lexical meaning. For example, lifeboat, a boat of special construction for saving lives, boat life on board of a ship, a fruit market where fruit is sold, market fruit of for selling, fruit market fruit. Word stress in compound words. The compounders are phonetically inseparable as the components of them have only on one stress. Mostly the first component is stressed. For example, penknife, bookcase, doorway, bookshelf. There are some compounders which have a double stress. In this case, we have the primary stress on the first component and a weaker secondary stress on the second component. For example, med doctor, washing machine, money order, etc. The semantic center of the compound is a lexical meaning of the second component modified and restricted by the meaning of the first. First, compound words denoting action described as to its agent, for example, sunrise, earthquake, handshake. Second, compound denoting action described as to its time or place, for example, day, flight, street fight. Third, compound is denoting individual objects designed for some goal, for example, bed, cage, tablecloth, diving suit. Fourth, compounds denoting objects that are parts of the whole, for example, shirt, collar, eyeball. Fifth, compounds denoting active task, for example, book reader, shoemaker, globe trotter. compound words to certain lexical semantic groups and semantic sets with them. The bulk of compound words are monosemantic and motivated, but motivation in compounds, like in all derivative, varies in degree. Compounds that are completely motivated: sky blue, food pump, tea tester. Motivation in compound words may be partial. Compound words: a handbag, a flower bed, handcuffs, a castle builder, are all only particularly motivated, but still the degree of transparency of their meanings is different. In a handbag, it is the highest as it is essentially a bag, whereas handcuffs retain only as resemblance to cuffs and in fact are metal rings placed around the wrists of a prisoner. There are compounds that lack motivation altogether. The native speaker doesn't see any obvious connection between the word meaning, the lexical meanings of the basis, and the meaning of the pattern. Consequently, he cannot deduce the lexical meaning of the word. For example, words like I wash, something said or done to deceive a person. Words with transparent meaning often acquire a new connotations, meaning usually non-neutral, not proper to either or to the components. Lack motivation may be often due to unexpected semantic relations embedded in the compound. Sometimes the motivated and non-motivated meanings of the same word are so far apart they are felt as two homonymous words. For example, a nightcap, first, a cap worn in bed at night, and second, a drink taken before going to bed at night, colloquial. I wash, first, a liquid for washing the eyes, and second, something said or done to deceive somebody, colloquial. I open it. First, enlightening or surprising circumstance, colloquial, and second, a drink or liquid taken early in the day, US. Note that English actually distinguishes the compositional phrase blackboard from the idiomatic word blackboard. Not only is the idiom written as one word, a relatively trivial writing convention, it is stressed on the first element rather than the second, as would be normal for non-idiomatic adjective, non-phrases. This is also true for other similar examples. Greenhouse, blue bat, vice blue bat, softball, vice softball. English also has a number of highly idiomatic noun phrases plus. A couch potato is not a potato at all, but a person who spends a lot of time on the couch. A bookworm is not a worm, but a person who loves books. Both of these are examples of metaphoric extensions. From the point of view how the components are joined together, the compound words may be classified into compound words whose components are joined with the linking element Afro-Asian, Anglo-Saxon, sportsman, speedometer, handicraft, statesman, lensman. Without a linking element, snowball, raincoat, door handle, reading room, paint box, door step. Compound words are also classified according to different ways of compounding. In this case, we divide them into two groups. First, compound words proper. Such kind of components are formed by joining together stems or words, and these compounds have no derivational effects. The components of such compounds are simple stems. For example, doorstep, looking glass, tablecloth, whitewash, bookcase, bookshelf. Derivation compoundings. These compounds have derivational effects. Long-legged, kind-hearted, schoolboy's nest, blue-eyed, absent-minded. There are two types of relationship in linguistic literature. Coordinative. In coordinative compounds, the components are structural and semantically independent. Reduplicative, goody-goody, 50-50, subordinate. In subordinate compounds, the components are based on the domination of one component over the other. For example, road building, babysitter, woman doctor. Pseudo-compound verbs. There are many polymorphic verbs that represent the morphemic sequences of two root morphemes, like to weekend, to goose flesh, to spring clean, but derivationally, they are all words of second derivation in which the existing compound nouns only serve as basis for derivation. They are often termed pseudo-compound verbs. Such polymorphic verbs are presented by two groups. First, verbs formed by means of conversion from the stems of compound nouns as into spotlight, from a spotlight, to sidetrack, from a sidetrack, to handcuff, from handcuffs, to blacklist, from a blacklist, to pinpoint, from a pinpoint. Second, verbs formed by back derivation form the stems of compound nouns. For example, babysit, from a baby sitter, to play act, from play acting, to housekeep, from housekeeping, to spring clean, from spring cleaning. Correlation between compoundings and phraseological units. The structural correlation manifests itself in the morphological character of components, range of bases, and their order and arrangement. It's important to stress that correlative relations embrace all the minimum, non-expanded nuclear types of phrases. Semantic correlation manifests itself in the fact that the semantic relations between the components of a compound mirror the semantic relations between the member words in correlated word groups. For example, compound adjectives of non-verb type, for example, duty bound, snow covered, circumscribed by the instrumental relation typical of the correlated word groups of when, by, that, plus, by, with, plus noun, not regardless of the actual lexical meanings of the basis. Compound nouns of the noun plus noun type, for example, storyteller, music lover, watchmaker, all mirror the adjective relation proper to phrases of the noun who, verb plus noun, storyteller, and one who tells stories, etc. Correlation between compounds of phraseological units. Compound words due to the fact that they do not require any implicit way to convey the semantic relation between their components, except their order, are of much wider semantic range, leave more freedom for semantic interpretation and convey meaning in a more compressed and conserved way. This makes the meaning of compound more flexible and situation-driven. It is natural that those types of compound words which do not establish regular correlations and that are marked by a lack of very low degree of motivation must be regarded unproductive as, for example, compound nouns of the A plus noun type. For example, blue bell, black bat, mad doctor. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye. See you next lesson.